If you've ever stared down a complex distributed system and thought, how is this not just spontaneously collapsing into a pile of disconnected errors? Well, you're in the exact right place. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the invisible mechanics of Kubernetes networking and persistent storage. We are zeroing in specifically on the insights from Part 4 of our source material, peeling back the layers to see the clever engineering that keeps all these constantly moving parts talking securely and reliably without the whole thing just falling apart.
So, let's start with a really high-stakes question. If a container dies, what actually happens to your stateful data? It's a bit of a terrifying thought if your infrastructure isn't ready for it. Because by design, containers are ephemeral. Think of them like sticky notes, right? They're incredibly useful for temporary tasks. You slap them on a wall in seconds, and you toss them out or replace them just as fast. That sticky note architecture is amazing for scaling up and down, but it makes the survival of your stateful data an immediate, critical problem to solve. Your stateful data is the permanent record book. If you're running a critical database, you literally cannot afford to lose your customer records just because a single container decided it was time to restart.
To prevent total cluster chaos, Part 4 outlines 3 central promises Kubernetes makes to bring order to distributed systems. First, how pods find each other. Second, how traffic flows in and out. And third, how stateful data survives container restarts.
So how do we actually map out the shared network plane? Imagine multiple distinct physical or virtual islands. Node 1, Node 2, Node 3. Perched on top of those nodes are our pods, those little active compute cubes. In the real world, these pods might be hosted on entirely different server racks, or even completely different availability zones. But logically, they're all woven together into one cohesive environment by a Container Network Interface, or CNI plugin. It's fascinating because this interface logically tricks these isolated, distant pods into thinking they're roommates living in the exact same apartment building.
This brings us to CoreDNS, which is the central component allowing pods to discover each other across the cluster network. Going back to that first promise, how pods actually find each other, CoreDNS is the brilliant answer. Instead of pods having to manually memorize the ever-changing IP addresses of their neighbors, which would be literally impossible given how fast they spin up and down, they just ask CoreDNS. It's like a magical, infinitely fast switchboard operator that instantly knows where everyone just moved to. It ensures an isolated pod on one node can instantly locate a service on a totally different node without missing a single beat. The crucial takeaway here is that all pods across all nodes can communicate directly on a single flat network. Think of it like a massive, bustling, open-plan office. If a pod needs to collaborate, it doesn't have to navigate some complex maze of hallways, wait at a security firewall, or ask a receptionist to pass a message along. Any pod can walk right up to any other pod's desk and talk directly. Even though these components are scattered across different structural nodes, they communicate seamlessly. This single flat network design is exactly what makes internal cluster traffic so impossibly fast.
Which builds into a simple but powerful networking model. Step 1, pods find each other. Step 2, traffic flows in and out. And Step 3, stateful data survives.
Let's dig into that last point, because it's an incredible paradox. We have 2 completely opposing forces at play. On one side, ephemeral pods. These are hyperactive, scaling up for traffic, scaling down, crashing, restarting. They're kind of like forgetful goldfish. On the other side, stateful data. This is your lifeblood, user data, transaction logs. It demands absolute, unmoving permanence. It has to be carved in stone. The true genius of Kubernetes is how it elegantly bridges the massive gap between these 2 completely opposite concepts.
As Part 4 explains, it's all about how stateful data survives container restarts. Kubernetes achieved this by completely decoupling the data from the ephemeral pods. The permanent storage exists entirely independently. Think of stateful data like a heavy backpack. When a container inevitably crashes and dies, Kubernetes essentially takes off that backpack of data before the container disappears, holds on to it safely in the background, and then just hands it to the shiny new replacement container that spins up seconds later. By decoupling this, a highly dangerous container crash becomes a totally mundane, background non-issue.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a crucial question to ponder about your own infrastructure. Is your cluster's network truly flat, like that massive open-plan office? Or is there invisible complexity hiding in how your CNI plugin is actually configured? Understanding these hidden mechanics, from the magical switchboard of CoreDNS to the seamless shared network plane, is absolutely essential for mastering your deployments. Definitely take a close look at your own environments today and see just how well they're delivering on those 3 foundational promises.